Hey, it's Beth here, episode 477. Okay, there's a brand new book out called On Our Best Behavior by Elise, who looks exactly like my friend Debbie in Dallas. Okay, cute as can be. Anyway, she worked at Goop for years and was all into perfection and cleansing and all kinds of really hard things to do. Meanwhile, she had a husband and 2 kids, and she just broke. She just broke down in 2017 and started feeling like it wasn't working for her anymore. She was tormenting her body, trying to stay thin, and she was working with Gwyneth Paltrow. She was the second hire for Goop. She was really great at her job, but she was feeling this hyperventilating that she was constantly doing because of anxiety and trying to be perfect. So she broke it down. And she figured out she wasn't raised religious, but she looked at the 7 deadly sins, and she thought these are things women do. But it got very interesting from there on. The big thing she came up with through this woman named Lori Gottlieb, who said, when you feel jealous, don't deny it. Envy teaches you what you want. If you're looking at someone and they're happy, or they're eating a hamburger without worrying about it, and you're awfully jealous, it's because that's what you want to be, and that's what you want to do. And that's a great thing to do with envy. That's when I started reading this. I got so completely into it. And she talks about how women are culturally programmed to fear being bad and to suppress their emotions and needs and their voices, to just do things for other people. And those are the women we idolize. And it's still true today. So I look at these young girls and I'm like, they're so miserable. I used to live next door to this woman who had worked in women's studies at UT, first in the country. She was doing it for 45 years, and she finally quit. And she said this last batch of girls that she's had for the last 5 years are the most depressed she'd ever seen. And I think it's because they're trying too hard. You don't have to have a rocking hard body if your husband doesn't. You don't have to wear a torso outfit if your husband isn't playing volleyball without a shirt on. It's just not fair. So this Miss Lonan, she gets into all of these aspects, and she says that women are trained to feel guilty about everything they do, and men are trained not to show their feelings. She would be doing laundry while she was watching television with her husband, who would be sitting on the couch very relaxed. And she realized that it wasn't her husband who was making her do this. It was some dumb inner voice. In fact, her husband wanted her to stop folding laundry because she was doing it in a rage because he wasn't doing it. Everything she was feeling was her own voice telling her to do it. So she quit her job with Gwyneth, and there's a big controversy over that. You know, they're not speaking to each other, and she says, and she says, he says, she says, although it's she says, who cares? It's over. She went home and she started writing the book. She started eating the food that her children were eating. She gained some weight. She looks back at pictures of her rocking hard body, and she doesn't understand why she wasn't happy. I think this has something to do with estrogen. And I don't read it anywhere in these articles. You look at a female puppy dog and a male puppy dog, and they're playing wildly and everything. The minute she goes near getting into heat, she lays on her back and she stops playing hard. And I think 12 and 13-year-old girls do that too. And testosterone has the opposite effect. It makes a dog run faster, run into walls, go crazy, just like teenage boys. So we have to think about the hormones involved here. And actually, Elise is more worried about boys because she does feel that women, we die on the inside a lot, but we learn how to cope in the world that we're living in because we never thought it was made for us. And she thinks boys, that's her next book, that boys are doing worse in school, and they have been for many years, but they're also doing they're angry and they're hurt and they're hurting people, some of them. So that's another whole big subject. But the other part of this book that is amazing is that this Dr. Benewald, a practitioner of circling, which is something that I think women have been doing it for centuries. You know, the men go out and hunt and the women have the beans and they're sorting them and they're in a circle and they've got the kids there. And we used to do that. We used to do that in kiddie pools at country clubs or community pools. And there'd be an older woman in the kiddie pool on her 5th kid when you were on your 1st kid. And she'd tell you, don't worry, he's not going to be sucking his thumb when he gets married. All this amazing advice with a sense of humor and just sweetness. And women are so busy they don't have circle times. They're not even in the afternoons getting their kids to baseball practice, which is the longest thing. It's a definition of eternity too, where you finally, after the first hour of trying to look perfect, break down because your kid is, hitting himself with a bat or something. The humor comes out, the human comes out. And after the coronavirus, people aren't getting together. And if they are getting together, they're getting together with their husbands and they're not talking. It's not the same conversation when you're with double dating as if you went out alone with a woman. And it's not really fun if you go to a bar with a bunch of people around. It's really fun when your kids are playing in a sandbox and you're sitting there right next to them. When it's relaxed, that's when things come out. And there's no time for people to relax anymore. So it's just getting all ramped up and all too difficult. So I wish people would find time, and I wish parks had people in them. Try it on Saturday or Sunday, see if you can, but everybody has just 2 hours to do anything anymore. So I was trying to think about why are people so nervous and worried and trying to be perfect. It's because they're looking at Pinterest instead of that woman whose kid has a bloody nose and she's wiping it on her skirt. That's the woman you need to look at. She's alive and she's real. And it's just so sad that we're all self-optimizing all the time. Who cares? This woman, Elise, got out of it. She said, I'm getting out of the racket. She got an anxiety disorder from it. She didn't enjoy any food she was ever eating. She couldn't enjoy anything with her kids or her husband because she should have been doing something else when she was doing anything she was doing. So she's just opted out for a little while and wrote this great book. And I think everybody just needs to stop being so exhausted, to stop trying to make your house look gorgeous every day, or create a lunch box for your kid with every color in the food rainbow. Just lay down, relax, watch a cartoon with your kids, let the dog do whatever the dog wants to do, and just let it go. She's right. She's right. You're not going to get your time back. And if you're looking for perfection, you're never going to make it. She got really close. I mean, Gwyneth Paltrow's ex-best friend, okay? And she didn't like it. She didn't like any of it. Everybody was looking to her for advice. She was on every podcast. Everything anybody wanted, she made Goop what Goop is. It was a lot of her. And she woke up one morning and she said, this is not me. I am anxiety-ridden. I don't enjoy one moment of my life. And I just wish everybody, every mom, everybody under, I don't even know, they probably have babies at 45 now, whatever. Read the book. Calm down. Think things are funny. You don't have to be perfect. I do think people are willing to die on every single mountain for what they think is true. Let it go. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're right and you don't care. Maybe you're both right. Maybe everybody's right. Maybe every kid's different. Whatever it is, get in a kiddie pool with some big mom on her 5th kid and let her tell you what to do. She says make them macaroni and cheese if that's what they're actually going to eat. Do it. And don't mix like vegetables into it. I did that one time with my youngest son, my older son. I was making him a smoothie every day. I mean, I've fallen into this trap. Making him a smoothie every day, except I am a sloth lover, and I'm slothful, and I love my slothfulness. I enjoy my life. When I sit down and relax, that's when it gets the best. When I go out to lunch with somebody for 3 hours and we talk the whole time, if that's sloth, give me more. So I'm into it. But I was trying my best with Brett when he was a baby. I made him a smoothie every morning. This was even before smoothies were cool. And it was a banana, orange juice, an ice cube, and an egg. And it was raw, but we didn't know any better back then. Gave it to him every day. One morning, I put 1 strawberry in it, mixed it up in the blender, gave it to him in his high chair. He was 2.5. He pushed it to the edge of the high chair and he said, "What have you done?" He never trusted me again. I shouldn't have looked at that book. I should have left good enough alone. Sleeping dogs lie. Whatever. Leave it alone. If you're pretty close to a win, stay close to a win. Don't push. She says don't push in this. The book is all about don't push. Don't be your best behavior. Enjoy your life, because it's never going to be good enough. Nobody's perfect. But I'll tell you what, if I had to come up in this new world where everybody's so darn busy and amazing and skinny and fabulous looking, I wouldn't be happy. If I looked on Pinterest at what my Thanksgiving table, I mean, Martha Stewart was bad enough, but things are even better now. Your closet has to be beautiful. Your bookshelf, you have to hire someone to choreograph your bookshelf. I mean, give me a break. Your dinners have to be gorgeous and glorious and Top Chef every night. I'm like, really? When are you going to have a good time? When are you going to have fun? I mean, and you know, it's funny because you see all these things and everybody's laughing their heads off in all the pictures. But really, you go into restaurants and you look around, people are on their phones and they're not laughing their heads off. None of that. So just go back to what you think is funny. Go back to what you think is easy. Get in the sandbox with your kid. Just, get a popsicle and dribble it all down yourself. Whatever. Just listen to this Elise. She's got it right. She looks a little chubby now. So much happier. I was looking at pictures of her when she was younger. Okay, she was really beautiful, but she never smiled, and her face was kind of all wrinkled up with kind of like worry lines. Now she's got this face. She looks like Mom from 40 years ago. She just looks happy. It only lasts a minute. Her kids are already not even, the youngest one is 5. It's almost over. She's going to have fun. And then she can get back to her life if she wants to. She's a genius. The book is called On Our Best Behavior. And even if you're a grandmother or you've got a daughter-in-law, you've got a daughter, you've got them running around in circles, trying as hard as they can, and all they do is talk about how exhausted they are. Don't tell them to read the book. Just read the book. You will have so much sympathy for these girls. You'll be so much kinder. You won't get mad when they snap. You'll just feel sorry for them. They're wasting their good time. Maybe this book, I hope it takes off. It's on the bestseller list. I wish this woman all the best. I hope she makes a dent in how crazy ramped up everything is now. But that's what I've got. I was thrilled to see it, and I just hope for the best. I hope there's a revolution and people just put their whisk down and just scramble an egg. So I'll be back, and this made me a little sane. Thanks. Bye-bye.